Welcome to I Love My Club By, with me, your host, Seamus Barry, the podcast that gives you the insight into our local games of hurling and camogie. Join us as we take a look at some of the characters around the county on I Love My Club By. Welcome to episode 6 of I Love My Club By, the podcast that brings you closer to our local heroes in our game of camogie and hurling. On episode 6, I'm delighted to say I have Maurice Shannon. Maurice was an all-star in 2015 with Waterford. He's been probably the best club player in Waterford in the last 10 years in terms of a forward. His scoring starts are off the chart, especially with Lismore and being back up senior. I seen him firsthand last year. And Maurice has been a pivotal part of Lismore returning to the Premier grade in Waterford. Maurice, welcome to the show.
Cheers, Seamus. Thanks for having me, guys.
You're more than welcome. I suppose we'll start off, Maurice. Everyone knows you as Dan's brother, first of all, when you came onto the scene. Was that a tough one to try live up to?
It wasn't really for myself, Seamus. No, I suppose a lot of people would have said it, like the reporters and all that would have always kind of said, and Dan's brother this, Dan's brother that. But at the end of the day, Seamus, I'm Maurice, Dan is Dan, and that's the one bit of advice Dan always said to me. He said, you're your own person, and he said, you might be compared to me at times, but we're different people, and just try to do your own thing and drive on yourself, like try to make your own name out there. And I think I've done that, Seamus, to be honest.
I would definitely certainly say you done it. That's a great piece of advice, because I have an older brother as well, and he's an inter-county referee. And, you know, people will be always saying, how's he getting on and stuff like that. And there is, I suppose, everyone will compare and contrast. You see it with Tommy Welch and Paddy Welch and even Shane as well in Kilkenny. But that's a great way of looking at it. I think, speaking personally anyway, I've played against you. I've seen you firsthand with Lismore. I've seen you play for Waterford. You created your own legacy. There's no doubt about that over a 10-year period. I think you actually started with my own clubmate, Noel Connors, if I'm correct.
Yeah, the two of us would have started together, Seamus. We would have started even underage hurling together. We're the same age, you know, so we played all the way up, myself and Noli, and we gave it 10 good years together. We won Munster.
You're just about to say you won Munster and League, and you went close. You know, you were in Croke Park on big days as well. What's it like playing in Croke Park, Maurice?
Sorry?
What's it like playing in Croke Park?
It's unreal. It's unreal, Seamus. You know, the minute you run out that tunnel, it's just mind blowing, to be honest, at the start. But you have to put that out of your head straight away, because you're there to do a job for Waterford and do your best for Waterford all the time. You put on that jersey, and unfortunately we didn't win in All Ireland, but I suppose 17 was our best chance of doing that, and we just came up with just short on the day, and small things didn't go right for us. But I have no really regrets, to be honest with you, playing with Waterford, because like I said, we won a league, we won a Munster, and their days now you look back on with great memories, the great things you made on and off the pitch. That's all it's about, really.
It is, and I think it's something we've been highlighting here on the show is, I suppose, the role that the GAA plays in your community, within your county. You know, it gives so much joy to people, even that don't play anymore or are just fans of the game. You know, the whole experience, like you said, getting up the day of a Munster match, like going to Thurles for a Munster match, is just something special, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, 100%. It's, I suppose, I'd rather do it as a player than as a supporter. It's kind of different as a player, you know, because you'll have them butterflies nerves in you from the minute you wake up in the morning. But they're good. If you didn't have them, there'd be no point going, really, to be honest with you. But no, like that, you wake up in the morning of the Munster game, you're looking forward to it. The butterflies are in the stomach straight away, and you meet the lads in Clonmel Park, and you drive on into the horse and jockey, and from there it's nearly game time. You're getting your game face on. You're going through your tactics with Derek. Mostly, that's the most manager I had, really, with Derek for 5 or 6 years, and we had the same routine the whole time, and get the Garda escort into Thurles. But there's nothing better going up through the square in Thurles, Seamus, with the water fans out there.
I can only imagine. The one thing I was going to say is, obviously, you used to take the freeze for Waterford. Would you have been, like, I remember the story about Richie Foley. went over on his ankle taking frees for Waterford. A famous story. But would you have been one like to be up in the field the day before or the morning of it hitting frees, or did you know that you had enough done?
No, yeah, I wouldn't be a fellow to be up there the day before. No, I had a kind of a thing that I wouldn't touch the hurley the day before a match, that kind of yoke, to be honest with you, because the day you wake up, the match day, I want to touch it enough times. That's the way I looked at it. But no, you do your training Tuesday, Thursday, or maybe Tuesday, Friday, and you just get the practice in there. And if it was Tuesday, Thursday, and we weren't playing until Sunday, you go up to the local pitch maybe on a Friday evening. The boys would have been training anyhow, club training, and I might hit 10 or 12 threes, and that be it. And if they go over, they go over, and if they don't, I don't stay up there until they go over. Like, just get 12 balls, go and hit them, and it kind of worked for me. But I suppose in 15, I suppose I was hitting the frees, unfortunately, because Paul broke his leg, and to this day, that man, what that fellow's doing for Waterford Highland still is unbelievable, and he's an unbelievable free taker. Probably the best I've ever seen.
What he's done for Ballygunner as well. I was at the All Ireland club final, and I actually spoke to Paddy just after. He gave me an interview on pitch side, and I think he's really transformed his game, and I think that's why he's back in with Waterford, because people would have, I suppose, said Paddy previously wouldn't have been your traditional centre forward. He would maybe stand off and pick up loose play. But in the last 12 months since he's returned back, and like you said, broken leg, knee injuries, hand injuries, he's had it all. And to keep coming back, and even Toig is the same with the cruciate. But Paddy has really transformed his game. He's after getting a little bit more physical again. He has that experience. And as you said, if Stephen isn't hitting him well or Ozzy isn't, there's another option there. And Paddy is probably, like you said, I'd say he's the best free taker in Waterford anyway.
Yeah, 100%. You know, like, I suppose down through the years, Paddy, people would have kind of said Paddy is kind of a loose hurler or a free taker or that, but by God, I wouldn't agree with that one bit. I think Paddy Manley is nearly one of the best hurlers I ever played with, to be honest with you.
His intelligence, I remember he switched the
ball. Yeah, his intelligence there. Yeah. He's worked great off the ball. The first thing he thinks about is winning a tackle, not putting the ball over the bar, to be honest with you. It's always about winning a tackle and that, getting himself into the game and that kind of stuff. And I suppose at the moment, Waterford are blessed with Stephen Bennett, the form he's in, 100%, and hopefully Stephen can keep that going, because at the moment he's nearly the best hurler in Ireland at the moment. But the one thing we all know, your form can dip, but hopefully for us and hopefully for Waterford, it won't this year. But if it does, there's always backup there, like Austin, like you said, Austin, Paddy Manley, them lads on any given day. Once the team wins, I thought they are happy.
That's it. And like, without getting carried away, right? Because I suppose there's two ways to look at it. With Waterford winning the league last week, the players' reaction for me, that was really important. The players didn't celebrate. And it's not to say that the league didn't mean it, but years gone by in Waterford, I remember we won the league in 2007. Like, it was like winning All Ireland final, because we weren't used to winning in a sense. But when the lads won the league last week, their demeanour straight away kind of showing there's bigger things down the line.
100%. And I'm not going to say here that Waterford want to win the All Ireland game. It's because there's enough pressure on them boys, and they don't need that, you know. But they're trusting, I suppose, the process they're in at the moment. They're trusting the management and what they're trying to do. And it's like, the league was the league. That's over now. It's the Munster Championship. It's Tipperary Sunday, and on form, Waterford are flying, Seamus, to be honest with you. But we all know form can change, and hopefully it doesn't. But at the moment, Waterford are the team up there. I still think Limerick are the team to beat to win the All Ireland. But by God, Waterford have some chances they can keep their main players fit and get everyone back. Because, like, you look, was the last Saturday 2 weeks ago now, I think, was it?
Yeah.
The players are missing: Jamie Byrne, Austin Gleeson,
Peter Hogan, Paddy Manley.
Peter Hogan, Paddy Manley, Colin Dunford's injured. Them players, like, if you bring any of them players and look at the players on the bench as well, you had Kieran Bennett, Stephen Bennett. By God, like, I looked at the sub bench there for this Sunday. The team was announced last night. It's frightening what's on the bench, to be honest.
It is, and it's so exciting. I was in a WhatsApp group, and a friend of mine put the team program in last night, and he said, "Jesus, look at that bench."
Yeah, that's it. Like 100%. And the boys that are starting, the 15 that are starting, deserve to be starting semis because it's the same team that won the league final and stuff. And put the boys on the bench. Your Austin Gleeson, your Jamie Bang, your two Bennett,
Early Daly,
Peter Hogan, Early Daly, my own club mates come back from injury. You know, it's absolutely frightening. But the one thing we all know down through the years, the last few years anyhow, the boys didn't have really full panels for the whole year. So hopefully we can keep everyone fit and drive on.
fingers crossed. How impressive have you been, or impressed, I should say, by Carlock Daly, the younger of the Dailies from your own club?
Yeah, look, Cork's only.
Or Corlock, sorry.
Yeah, no, Cork's only suppose 20, isn't he? Like
Yeah.
he was underage for the under 20 the Wednesday night. So and he didn't play, so we probably all kind of knew he'd be on the team and deserves to be on the team, James. But at the end of the day, we have to remember Cork's only 20 years of age. He's learning his trade, and he's learning it fairly fast now. This fella is because he's a very good hurler, and he's very committed, like his brother Erla. So I wouldn't have any worries about him. He's absolutely brilliant. I've seen him. He trained with the senior team. We had him the whole last year, and by God, this fella can be something special. I know that for a fact, but like again, I'm not going to put that pressure on him. Saying it's up. He needs to put in the work, and that's what he's doing. And when he's working hard, he's getting the rewards. It's great for our club in Lismore. We have 3 on the panel. Jack Bender as well. So it's great for all the young fellas, the underage hurlers in Lismore to be looking up to them. You know, like Jack Bender, the work rate Jack Bender brings to this Waterford team is unbelievable.
Yeah, Jack has just been outstanding in the league, his form. And I would say probably not even that it was a negative sense, but I suppose you would look at his return over the last year or two. You know, you might have said he was a bit light, but by God, this league season, he has an eye for goal now as well. And like you said, his work rate, he's a very kind of similar player to Peter Hogan. The two of them do so much work off the ball. And I think that's one of the key parts with Waterford this year. Like if you have Jamie Barron in the team, you know, Dara Lyons comes on, brings the same energy. If you have Shane Bennett coming on, he can replace the player. If Peter Hogan's coming on for Jack Prender. So it's not just say years ago, right, we're going to put in this fella, but it's actually like for like, and you can nearly have two teams in a sense.
No, 100%. And like, you have your workers and you have your scorers, and everyone's kind of given their jobs, I suppose. But the one thing about Jack, I suppose, down through the years, his work rate was never questionable for Waterford. He always gave 110%. But he's adding them scores now, which he's very careful of, and delighted to see because he's adding 1 or 2 points, maybe a goal to it. He's winning frees. He's very important to this Waterford team, if I'm being honest with you, and hopefully they can go place.
Go the whole way. We'll see in time. Will you go to the match Sunday, Maurice?
Yeah, I came out in the draw on Wednesday night, so I'm happy enough.
Is there any politics in that now that you came out in the draw?
I don't know that now, but I won't be saying too much, to be honest.
Actually, an interesting one. Tipperary returned a lot of tickets.
Yeah, I heard that during the week, to be honest, and surprising enough because it's a massive game. It's a massive game because, to be honest with you, I think Waterford and Tip, whoever loses might struggle a small bit. I don't think it's a game Waterford can lose, if I'm being totally honest. And I don't like putting that pressure on the boys because I've been there and I don't like it being safe. But it's like your home games in this Munster Championship. Your home games are very important to win, and hopefully we can get off this good start Sunday. Then we have Limerick the following Saturday night. You can kind of go there with a bit of freedom and see where the road takes you.
I agree with you there, and I actually think from Tipperary's point of view, I think this is a game that they've nothing to lose. You know, if I take off my Waterford cap for a second, like, you know, without putting pressure or building expectation, Waterford's red hot favourites going in this Sunday, and that's understandable because the league and the form that they're in. But for Tipperary, I think it's maybe a chance for Colin Bonner to set out his side and say, have a crack at it, lads. If it doesn't go our way, we still have our home games and we could try pick ourselves up, because like everyone is tipping Waterford, Limerick and Cork is the kind of the majority that everyone is saying is go through. Now, Clare have a couple of players coming back. You know, Peter's back, Shane O'Donnell's back. There's a few others coming back.
Into that tree, no.
Yeah, you know, like that's not a team that would just be pushed aside. And obviously, Tony Kelly is Tony Kelly. He's an enigma. He's just special. But like, I think people are forgetting that. Yeah, Cork had a good league as well. Like, Limerick or Limerick, regardless of what their league format was. But Tipperary never are a pushover in Munster Championship either.
Oh, 100%. And I know for a fact the Waterford boys will know that. They're not taking this game for granted. And this is, like, in my eyes, this game is 50-50, to be honest with you. Tip are going to come to Wells Park on Sunday, and they're going to try and match Waterford for their tackle rate, everything. Because they went down there in the league a few weeks ago, I think, lost by 10-12 points, I think. So this Tipperary team, the players they have, Jason Ford, Owen Maher, Dan McCormick, them fellas, it's going to be cagey. I tell you that, Wells Park is going to be cagey on Sunday, 50-50. If Waterford can keep the form going the way they're going and keep playing the way they're playing, I think we'll win.
Yeah.
But saying that, I think Tipperary are going to come with an almighty challenge on Sunday, and hopefully we can come out. 1 point will do, to be honest. A point will do.
And it's a strange one, because while I've been doing the podcast, we're coming to the start of the league, but now we actually have a chance to look at games and stuff. Will you watch the Galway Wexford game later on?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll watch it later. To be honest, any hurling game that's on the TV for the summer, I'll be watching. So,
who do you fancy there between Wexford? My brother's doing linesman today for that one.
Is he? Yeah, Tyler's reffing it, is he?
Tyler's reffing it. Yeah, we were up in Thurles the other night as well. We done Tip and Clare in the minor, Tip at a good win. Fergal Horn's son was actually playing on goal, the referee.
Jesus.
So I know.
Yeah.
But who do you reckon today now, Wexford or Galway?
I think Galway.
Down in Wexford.
Yeah, I think the Henry factor will come into play, and I think Galway just with the league, with circumstances, with the chefs and family as well, I suppose. It was a hard 2 weeks for them, but I think Galway are going to come out all guns blazing, but like that below in Wexford Park. You know yourself, anytime we went down to Wexford Park, we found a high down there. It's a different place. The Wexford crowd are going to be out in the big numbers, but I think Galway will come out, and I think Galway could be there or thereabouts in this year's championship too.
I think, given Limerick's dominance the last number of years, I think now, I think the chase and pack has kind of reeled them in, and I think it's a really exciting championship. I know every year we get excited for the championship, but this one, like, you're going through it again. Cork and Limerick's very hard to call tomorrow. Waterford Tip, very hard to call. Galway Wexford. You're saying Galway, but again, it's in Wexford Park, and that crowd,
Yeah.
And then, like, weeks to go, then you're going to have Kilkenny, Dublin, you're going to have Clare Tip, Waterford, Limerick. Like, these are just 50-50. They're brilliant for a neutral point of view.
Oh, unreal. Like, to watch Wexford and Galway this evening, and then to go to Wells Park tomorrow and watch the boys, and then to tune in somewhere to watch Cork and Limerick. Like, it's like people be on about Super Sunday there in the Premiership, but we have Super Sunday in the GA now, thank God, back again. Like, Cork and Limerick tomorrow is going to be unreal. I think we're going to see a big performance out of Limerick. Yeah.
You would expect it. You would expect John Kiley demands certain standards. League is league. I know Waterford won it, but regardless, it is all about championship. And I think in the last number of years, I remember Tipperary threw the kitchen sink at Limerick last year, and Limerick just came out in that 11-minute period when Kyle Hayes got that goal, and it just blew Tipperary apart.
Oh, that's it. Like, I was just kind of watching something this morning, and it was actually showing Liam Sheedy when the Tip boys are running in at half time. and he was like a man obsessed, you know. But Limerick came out in the second half and they turned it around. And I think we're going to see a massive, massive performance tomorrow. I think Limerick will win. I think Limerick will put down the marker again and say, the league was the league, this is championship. And don't be surprised. Don't be surprised that if you see a few changes in this Limerick team. We've seen the team. I seen the team last night, but I wouldn't be surprised if one or two comes in off the bench, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Hayes is back up in the forward.
Interesting. And I suppose looking at Waterford as well, then I suppose it's a thing in the GAA. You see one team do it, another team does it. But what do you make of Jack Fagan at wing back for Waterford?
Yes, to be honest, it was kind of surprising when he went back there at the start of the year because he's a decent forward and he's a ball winning forward as well. Like, but Jesus, he's flying back there, isn't he, at the moment? And he's not doing nothing wrong back there. He's absolutely, it's like he played there all his life, to be honest with you. And it's good for Jack. It gives him a lot of confidence if they go back to wing back and playing the way he's playing, and delighted for him because I suppose the lad came from Leeds and he had to work hard at it and he's getting his rewards.
Would you fancy playing against Waterford's half back line? Daly, Burka and Fagan?
Yeah, I suppose. No, you wouldn't. 100%. 100% you wouldn't. And I suppose Daly switched with Callum Lyons in the league final. Lyons was wing back and Daly was midfield. Probably see that tomorrow as well, I suppose. But saying that Callum Lyons come back from injury is massive as well. The amount what he brings to this team, he chips in with 2 or 3 points a game from wing backs, you know. And like your half back line tomorrow could chip in with 5 or 6 points from play, to be honest with you.
It's crazy the way the game has changed.
It's absolutely crazy the way it is because Jack, it was a forward all his life. Callum chips in with 2 or 3 points and tied the work.
It's exciting. Tyg is just he's unbelievable.
That's unreal what he's after coming back from. Everyone's saying it's like too crucial, but the man has just worked so hard and it's unbelievable and delighted for him and delighted for his family because they're proper hurling people and it's great. It's great for Waterford that Tyg the work is back.
Speaking on that, about Tyg's cruciates, I actually done my ACL, MCL, and PCL all in the one go, and yeah, it finished me. That was the end of it. I tried to come back and play and help out with the junior team and stuff like that, but I'm not able to. And I'm probably going to help out with the junior C team this year. But did you ever have any big injuries, Maurice?
No, not really. I would have broke a lot of bones in my hands, and I broke my ankle, but I never had cruciate or anything like that. Touch wood.
Yeah. Did you break bones in your hand, or was it opposition fellas broke bones in your hand?
It would have been opposition. Yeah, to be honest with you, but it would have been opposition. I remember we were playing Waterford played Cork below in Lismore, and then I was challenge game. I don't know was to raise money for Lismore or whatever, but I remember I broke my thumb. It was only 2 weeks out from club championship, and I missed the 2 club games, and then I went back 5 weeks later. I went back and I broke my finger straight away, and I was out for another 5 or 6 weeks. So it's a bit of a disaster, but I didn't think happen in sports. Like if you break your thumb, you can still run. If you break your ankle or anything like that, you can't. But unfortunately, the boys like Tyg's injury, I seen it last year. My own club mate Paddy Pinner.
Yeah.
He done his crucial playing a club league game, and he was a massive loss for us in the club. And the amount of work that I've seen that man put in to get back, and he's nearly back. Thank God for us, he's nearly back. But the work that goes into getting back is absolutely crazy.
It's becoming a bit too common as well, unfortunately.
It is, yeah. It is, and we don't know the main reason behind that is what it is or not. Like, so I just scary at times because, like, you could go out in the morning and do it. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I suppose it's always the worst. Like with Tyg's one, I suppose it's always usually when someone's not putting too much pressure on you, you just go to turn and it gives way. And that's usually the worst sign, is when someone gets injured without brute force.
No, that's it. Like, that's it. Like, Ty done it, just turning up in Crow Park, and Paddy done it. There's no one around him when he done it either up in Lismore. You know, and the same day, Tim O'Sullivan done his. There's 2 crouches done in the same game.
Jesus.
Up in the field, you know, and you knew with Paddy's one he was kind of in trouble because it didn't look good. But Tim's one didn't look too bad, and we were all hoping either you don't want to see any player miss out in the year of hurling or doing their crucial.
And I suppose looking then at your own club, you're playing the league at the moment. So
yeah, we're playing the league. Yeah, firstly, we were down to play Mount Sion 2 weeks ago, and there was a day in the club. So unfortunately, that game was called off. And I my respect to all the dailies. She would have been early Corey's uncle that passed away. So he was a great clubman, Gabe Daly, and unfortunately, the game was called off in them circumstances, and we were down to play one more Friday night, and we have a lot of injuries in the club, and lads gone on holidays and that. So unfortunately, we couldn't get 15 bodies to go down, but that's just the way it is. It's at the moment trying to keep it going because you're not playing till August.
It's a strange one because we were the same last year and the year before, obviously with the new structure of the championship, and you're just kind of, you're nearly doing 2 pre-seasons in a sense, because you do your first one for the league coming up, and then inter-county scene takes over, and you're still trying to tick over yourself, your gym sessions, and then you probably get an 8 to 11 week pre-season run again at the season.
No, that's it. Like, and like the clubs have to keep it going, to be honest. Like, players have to keep tipping over, but like that, like two sessions a week up in the field is plenty, and like lads live in gyms at the moment. You know, that's the way the sport has gone, and I suppose even club players now are in great shape, and that's just the way it is. Everybody looks after themselves to play at their clubs or inter-county hurling, and it's great. It's great going back up to the field. I love going up to the field, up to the boys, and getting out of the house, and it's just great for everything, to be honest.
And on that point, talking about getting up to the field and having crack with the lads, it's a release for people as well, isn't it?
No, 100%. 100% it's a release. Yeah? When you go up to the field there on a Tuesday and Friday evening, it's just, you're just in the hurling field for an hour and a half, and every worry's gone out of your head. You're just there to train hard and meet the boys and have the crack with the boys, and it's just, I love it, to be honest with you. I love going to the field. If I could, I'd be in the field every night of the week up in the Lismore pitch if I could, and I just love being up there. It's just, that's just me though. I just love watching the under 10s or under 11s just training or playing a match, and I just love being up in the hurling club.
And it's something that we've talked about a lot on this podcast, and even when I was on Today FM, it was highlighted as well. You, in the last number of years, you've been very vocal about your struggles, and when I say struggles, I mean that with the greatest respect, because I'm in a similar position myself. I've suffered from depression for many years, and I'm on the other side of it now, to, you know, touch wood, and it's something I deal with every day. But can you take me back to when things started, I suppose, to change for you, Maurice, with your mental health?
Yeah, I suppose it was in around 2014. I would have had a lot of I had a problem with my hips and that, and I suppose I was out injured a lot. If it was my hand, maybe my hamstrings or my hips or my ankle, I was having trouble everywhere, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't say that was all the reason, but do you know, when you're kind of, I suppose in 2014, I suppose I was on the water panel nearly for 4 or 5 years then, and I wasn't kind of breaking through the way people thought I'd be breaking through, to be honest with you. And there was a lot of pressure. I felt that people weren't putting pressure on me by no means, but I felt like that I wasn't getting the best out of myself, and it wasn't because of a lack of trying, because I was doing everything. It was just I had a lot of injuries and that kind of stuff, and I suppose people are saying, like, is he ever going to kind of break through into the Waterford team, and is he ever going to put his stamp in it, because at underage level, club level, and that senior level, I was scoring high, and people are saying, Jesus, Dan's brother's coming through. He's definitely one to look out for, and that kind of stuff. It plays on your mind a bit, to be honest with you, if you're not delivering. And unfortunately, I wasn't at the time, and I was always kind of seen to go back to my club and always played well with my club, and I just couldn't get that kind of form going with Waterford. And then you're kind of doubting, are you good enough to play with Waterford? But I knew deep down I was. And everyone just kind of got on top of me. Personal things got on top of me. And I suppose in 2014, everyone kind of knows now to this day that I tried to commit suicide, I suppose. And but thankfully, I'm here to tell the tale. And thankfully, I'm just here to tell the tale. And I'm here because of my club mates and my family. More than anything, they done everything for me, and it was very hard on my family at the time to see me in that place. And they done everything for me. My club done everything for me, and Derek and the Waterford boys done everything for me. And it's just it's not an easy thing. Depression isn't an easy thing. Everyone knows that, and all you can say is it's good to talk. It's good to get off your chest. And if it's a friend, if it's a family member, if it's a counsellor, whatever it is, just go and talk to someone. And the minute you start talking, it helps a bit, anyhow.
It's a very personal thing to talk about, and I gave a talk start the lockdown in my own company that I work for, and I talk about mental health, and I suppose when I was suicidal and the struggles that I had. And that's the one thing I would say, and I actually referenced you with your clubmate Shawnee a while back. Shawnee Barry's a good friend.
Yeah, I listened to it actually. Yeah.
But I was referencing it. What is great for me, Maurice, with you is the fact that you do have a profile, and with a profile comes responsibility and so on. But what you've done since you've publicly spoken about your troubles is you're giving so much inspiration to a younger generation, and also to an older generation, typically men, not just men, there's women as well, but typically men in GA have a tendency not to talk. And I think by you highlighting it, being a high profile player, like you're an all-star, like, in terms of the Waterford Club Championship, the last 10 years, without doubt, you're the best forward. So when youngsters see you talking, you can really hold your head up high, because you're having a massive effect on these younger generation.
No, definitely. And I suppose when I came out, it was the Friday night of the All-Star Awards. I think RTE asked me for an interview, and I didn't think it'd be as big, to be honest with you, when I came out and said it. I didn't think it was all over the papers the following morning and that. And I suppose the coverage it got, and it was unbelievable. And it definitely 100% helped a load of people. I know for a fact that it's after helping a lot of kids and a lot of older people, male and female, to be honest with you. And that's great, because I suppose sometimes you might get a phone call saying, oh, this child is feeling depressed and suffering a small bit. And if I can help in any way, I'm not a counsellor or anything like that, and never will be, to be honest, but if you can just give a small bit of advice and try and get this kid to open up to their parents or to anyone, and try to get them over that small little bump in the road, because it's like anything, Sam. It's like, unfortunately, in this world, people are passing away from cancer and everything, and other kind of illnesses, and that's like depression is no different. Like, it's no different to anything. Like, just because me and you, we suffer from depression, we're no different to the first person down the road with no worries in his life. We're the same. And that's the one thing I say. Like, people think the person that is depressed is different to the person that's not. 100% that's not true. Like.
And that's it. Like, I suppose me and you have an insight into it, but anyone, a great thing that a counselor said to me once is, regardless of who a person is, whether they're starting off in life, if they're a celebrity, if they're rich, if they're poor, based on their ethnic background, everyone goes through depression at sometimes. It's more severe sometimes. You can have a chemical imbalance with some people, but for example, if you go through a breakup, if you don't get a job that you wanted, if you, I don't know, you didn't get a raise, or like, there's a form of depression that hits everyone. It's just, unfortunately, with some people, there's more of a natural tendency with a chemical imbalance for other people to suffer. And what you said is spot on. People die from cancer, people die from horrible diseases. And again, depression is the exact same. And what people get caught up in, because it's not a physical ailment, they don't see it as being an ailment. So the fact that, the thing I always say, if your leg is hurting you, you'll go to a doctor. If there's something wrong with your head, why not go see someone? I mean, your head controls your whole body.
No, yeah, that's it. Like, if you break a bone or if you're ill, you go to the doctor. It's no different to having depression. To be honest, if you don't feel good, just go and talk to someone. Go to your doctor, and they might put you in the right direction, or go to a counsellor, or talk to someone. Because, like, the one thing I'm after taking from it, like, I suppose at the time I thought I'd be doing everyone a favour, but Jesus, the way I look at it now, thankfully it didn't happen, but if it did, and like my mother and father would have been, they would never have been right. My family would have never been right. My friends would never have been right. Like, and I thought I was doing all them a favour, but by God, it's totally different.
It is, and it's something I spoke about to my mother only recently. I'm getting old now. I'm like you. I'm 30 in 2 weeks, and I said to my mother, and I said, "Ma'am, what did you think I'd be doing when I was 30?" And she said a few things, and she said, "What did you think you'd be doing?" And I said, "I didn't think I'd be alive, ma'am." And she said, "Well, Jesus, I'm glad you are," she said.
Oh, that's it. Like, 100%. Like, at the time, I suppose my father was battling cancer at the time as well, and thankfully he got the all clear there fucking few months later in 15 and in 14, and it was great that he did as well, like, you know. But like, he was kind of saying, I remember one evening inside the kitchen, he just turned around, he said, "I'm fighting to stay alive, and you're trying this, Maurice," he said. And that really hit home, like, you know.
It's not something, you imagine a parent would say to you.
No, 100%. 100%. It's not, like, and it's not, and I suppose I'd be wicked close to all my family and my dad and my mother, like any son or daughter would be to their parents. Like, I'm no different, but I suppose my father would have brought me everywhere as a small little child, hurling everywhere, every Saturday, Sunday, all over the country, up to Cork, to Blitz and everything. Like, and to hear that coming from him, it really hit home with me. And thankfully, I'm still here, and he's still here, and we're all good at the moment. Anyway.
That's what we want to hear. And I suppose one thing coming from it, I suppose from your own personal experience, if a positive, I know it's not a great thing to talk about in terms of what happened, and we hope that people don't have to go through that they get help, but a positive from yourself is the effect of that you're having with talk, and the effect of coming on a show like this and giving a platform, and that the club people can hear it. Because what I'm noticing lately is intercounty stars are wrapped up, right? Everyone has a PA, you're not allowed to talk to players and so on. And Marty Morrissey referenced it in an article recently that it's easier to get in contact with a politician than a GAA player.
Yeah.
So it's great. Yeah, it's great to get an insight like this, because this, like, you can read an article, because I read an article last night, one of your articles from the Irish Examiner, and you done an interview with Kevin Casey as well, and I was just going over it. But you can't, like, I've seen you all my life. Like, I've played against you the whole way up underage, and I played against you senior level, and like, I have a fair idea of who Maurice Shannon is in terms of the hurler, but the actual person behind that. And I think that's what's really important here, is for anyone listening. And if anyone is struggling while listening to this, you know, it doesn't need to be a counsellor. It doesn't need to be a GP. It could just be anyone. Just, you know, even if they wanted to message me on Instagram, or if they reached out to yourself, anyone at all, because the first step is just you admit that there's something going on, and it doesn't have to be categorically that you're suicidal. It can just be one small thing. And if you can get in good habits, getting exercise and eating right, getting out with your friends, socializing, you know, anything at all. And I think that's the big positive from this, that you're having that knock-on effect for people, Maurice.
No, 100%. That's it. Like, it's like, at the end of the day, like, any lad that plays hurling, or your time is going to come that way, you know, like, you can't play hurling forever.
Well, Dan has tried to.
Oh, he is. It's going well too for him.
It is, because I can tell you, if I was playing full back, regardless of what age he is, and I see someone his size coming in on top of me, because he's in better shape now than he ever was.
No, that's it. Like, if you look at Dan now, you'd be saying the shape he's in is unreal, but unfortunately, at 45, the legs just can't go as fast as they could a few years ago. But like that, he came on in a challenge game the other day for us. For 10 minutes, he got 1-1, so he still has something to offer us anyway.
It's what's that like, being able to, because my brother would have stopped playing hurling for a couple of years, and he went into the refereeing, and it's special because we won a junior when I played my first adult year in 2009, 2010. I was in sixth year, and he was playing, and we got to play with each other for 2 or 3 years, and then I went on playing senior, and he stopped playing. But it's brilliant to play with a family member, isn't it?
100%. That's what clubs are about. Like, you know, you get to play with your brothers, and you get to play with your cousins and your best friends. And like, when I started out with Lismore, I started playing senior in 07, I think, and I had 2 brothers, Dan and James, on the team. And like, when I was 11 or 12, I never kind of thought I'd get to play with them. You never think that far ahead, like, you know. And it's an honour for me to play with the two of them, with Dan and James. And I suppose with Waterford, I got to play with Dan with Waterford as well. And it was great for our family. It was great for my mother and father, you know, because like I said earlier, they done everything for us. They provided everything for us to get where we got with Waterford. And it would have been a proud day for my father and mother to see the two of us play together, you know. And that's what I dreamed about as a young kid, playing with Dan and all them fellas. And even with Lismore, dreamed about playing with Lismore, and dreamed about winning counties. That's not happening at the moment, but we won't stop trying anyhow.
Well, that's no, we can't stop trying, unfortunately. No. Ballygunner have been very dominant the last number of years. We've received, I suppose, look, I don't mind saying, 2 beatings in county finals in the last 4 years. But it's magical. I remember Sean Canan, the great rock, the legend from Passage. He got a chance. He was still playing, and he actually managed to play with all 3 sons. The last one just came into adult, so he played with Gary, Dale, and Sean in a junior match.
Yeah, it's unreal, you know. That's what it's about, like, you know. And I suppose, like we said there, Ballygunner they're dominant, but they're dominant for a reason, because they're putting in the work at underage, and their club is just phenomenal, you know. And the players they have is it's crazy, but it's crazy because they're doing it. They're putting in the work, and that's where like Darragh Sullivan always says, he thinks it's good for Waterford hurling, and it is good for Waterford hurling. It might be good that Ballygunner are winning 8 in a row for other clubs, but it's up to us to get to that standard. And it was Jesus to watch Ballygunner win a club of Ireland. I was delighted for him, you know. Unfortunately, for my own club mate James O'Connor, you'd be heartbroken for him the way it went as well, because he's a Lismore man. But I wouldn't begrudge Ballygunner winning that All Ireland at all, because they deserved it.
I hope you're not expecting me to comment on that now.
No, I leave you off in this one.
I tell you, I went in and I done a preview of Ballygunner with Fergal Hartley, the club chairman, and also Andy Maloney, and it was strange because I actually have family from Ballyhale originally. And my nanny's an actually O'Sullivan from Ballygunner. So Paddy and Philip and Kevin and them be a distant cousin of mine. And I went in as a passage man, and you're sitting there and you're previewing Ballygunner and Ballyhale. And like it was a strange final, because the both of them are only like separated by 40 kilometers, but they're obviously in 2 different provinces. And I was sitting up in Crow Park, and Fergal Hartley came over to me after the match. And of course, Fergal was emotional, and he was jumping around the place, and he was hugging kind of everyone, and I was sitting a little bit away from him. And he came over and he didn't realise, and he gave me a big hug and he was jumping. And then he looked at me and he went, "Oh, Jesus, sorry." I said, "Fergal, I'm not going to say something, but just enjoy it." And even a couple of people, obviously I know a lot of the Ballygunner lads, but some of them were having a bit of fun. They were there saying, "Am I lost up in Crow Park? Where's my Ballygunner jersey?" And even my own club mates have said it to me recently. "Actually, you're probably going down to Jack's for your dinner now, or you're going into Ballygunner to train." But no, I wouldn't begrudge him either. I admire him so much.
No, 100%. Like, you look at their team: Stephen O'Keefe, Barry Coughlin, Phil O'Mahony, Shane O'Sullivan, Pádraig Manny, Peter Hogan. Them players.
Levy.
Yeah, Paddy Levy.
Yeah.
Like, Shane Sullivan, Phil O'Mahony, Stephen O'Keefe, Barry Coughlin. They're all gone from inter-county now, but Jesus, it must be a dream come true to win a club all Ireland.
Especially for Shane, given, I suppose, the last number of years, especially the death of his father, who was so prominent in Ballygunner.
Yeah, 100%.
Pat was, of course, so much work for Ballygunner, and as Shane done an article recently saying, like, there is other things outside the GAA, and I suppose for him now, I'm not saying he's retired on this podcast, but I think Shane doesn't have anything left to prove, really.
No, 100%. But Jesus, I follow Shane on Instagram there and that, but the way he looks after himself is just unbelievable.
I think that's the key to it. Yeah.
No, that's it. The way he trains, the way he looks after his body, and his mindset. I say, just love to live inside his head for an hour or two. To be honest with you, because I say it's just crazy, but in a good way. Shane Sullivan doesn't know Ballygunner or nothing. Hopefully he might retire. I don't think he will. To be honest with you, I don't think he will, because, like they said, they won one club all Ireland. Their goal will be to win another.
I wonder, is there any chance they'll all retire because they won the club all Ireland?
Be great, wouldn't they? But their intermediate team are getting stronger too. That's the problem.
Don't even go there. Nicky, the brother does be refereeing intermediate down here. And last year they were playing their first game. Paddy Cook was on goal. Harley Barnes was midfield. Wayne Hutchison was full back. Speedy was in the corner. It was Jake Foley was in the other corner. Of course, he broke into the senior scene. Harry Ruddle was playing. It was just crazy.
That's the thing. That's the thing, And they're winning underage titles at the moment for fun, and they're going to get stronger. Like, but it's up to other clubs. Like, for saying that, then Mount Sion ran them to a point last year. So
they did. I think that was the big chance, for Mount, for someone to top it. And look, regardless in any sport, right? We've seen this. And if you think back to Dublin in recent years, Brian Fenton only lost his first ever championship match a couple of years ago with Dublin, which is a crazy stat. But another one is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's a sub-keeper with Ballygunner, Mark. And someone said to him recently, when's the last time you lost the game? Right? And this is between the juvenile, obviously before he came into adult, because he would have played intermediate and junior A. He didn't lose a game underage for something like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, to be honest with you. Like, I suppose if you look at from Barry's age and Pádraig's age up, I'd say they could count on one hand how many games they lost. Like,
will I mention the one in 2013? No.
Well, geez, I have nothing to do with that now. No,
if anyone says that, I'll say Maurice said off air. He said, "Don't forget to mention 2013."
Jesus, no way. I said that's the last game they lost. Like,
I know, yeah. My brother says it. We created a monster.
Well, that's what you done. You made them angry.
I tell you, if they let us win another one, I'll no problem with him another 8. I'll take another one, no problem at all. On that, I suppose, looking at the Waterford Championship, and we've had a very, very serious discussion the last number of minutes, and we want to bring it to a kind of lighter note. And how are you at the moment, Maurice? How's things with you?
Yeah, I'm flying. Yeah, I'm absolutely flying at the moment. Like I said, I'm training away with Lismore, and I'm in the gym 2 or 3 nights a week, and I have a little daughter, Rosie. She was 1 day 2 weeks ago, so she's keeping me on my toes as well.
What's that like? That must be proud. It must make you proud.
Yes, it was the best. It's the best day ever, to be honest with you. I suppose there, the 13th of March. there last year. You know, it was unbelievable. To be honest with you, for her to come into our little world, myself and Katie's, it will be the best day in my life anyhow so far.
And I can tell you, when she's growing up and while she's growing up, you know, she's going to hear about Daddy playing hurling, and of course she will hear eventually about what you went through and stuff like that. And I tell you, she'll definitely be one proud child when she grows up with her father.
No, that's it, and hopefully everyone go well for her. Like, that's all you want now, is everyone to. It doesn't matter. Once Rosie's happy, I'm happy. That kind of age, you know. And she's just one happy little girl at the moment. She took her first 2 steps yesterday, so the excitement inside the house is crazy.
By any chance, when she was taking her first and second step, did you put a hurley in her hand?
But the hurley was in her hand after around 3 weeks after she was born, to be honest. But I know, look, if she plays camogie with Lismore, it'd be great. If she doesn't, it won't bother me, to be honest.
That's it. Like, it's all, like you said, once she's happy, that's the main thing.
No, that's it, yeah.
And what's the goal? I suppose we talked about Ballygunner. We talked about you're in the league at the moment. What's the goal for Lismore this year?
Yeah, look, I suppose you could sit here and say, the goal is to win a county title, but you have to be a bit realistic as well. And if you take Ballygunner out of the club championship and had the other 11 teams in it, it'd be any team could beat anyone on any given day. I think, like De La Salle, Mount Sion, Passage, Abbeyside, Dungarvan, Lismore, Roamore, 4 Mile, Tallow. Anyone could beat anyone, you know. And like, it's a good championship. It's a very good championship, and our goal is we have Roamore first in the championship. We haven't beaten Roamore with the last 3 or 4 years. They've got one over on us every year we play. So our goal is to win that game, and we're not thinking any further than that game, to be honest with you. We just think about Roamore and treat that the way it is, because I think we own one, but we won't get it too easy off them. No team gets it easy off Roamore, and they're a great club, and they got to the county final last year. But hopefully we can train hard and keep our heads down and see where the road takes us.
I think every team is going to have to go with the same attitude, because you just have to take it game by game, given the dominance from Ballygunner. And there's no point, like you said, even Passage or Mount Sion or any club saying, right, we're going to win the title this year. It's literally get as far as you can go and take it game by game.
No, that's it. Like, you can't be thinking about trying to beat Ballygunner, because you might even get the chance to beat Ballygunner, you know, the way this championship is. Like, any day, like, if you have Lismore, Lismore, Mount Sion, Passage, Mount Sion, they're 50-50 games. Like, that's the way other people might see them different. It's always on form as well, but on any day, any team can beat anyone in this championship, except from the exception of Ballygunner at the moment. But the day is going to come, maybe they're going to get turned over too.
It is, like, that's what you said, Mount Sion came very close last year.
No, that's it. Like, every team thinks the way they think, and every club puts in their goals at the start of the year and their aims at the start of the year. And like I said, our aim is to see how we get on against Roamore. After that, we have Dunhill, but in our eyes, we have one game at the moment, and that's Roamore.
It's interesting. You said earlier on that you listened to the Shawnee Barry podcast. I don't know if you can remember, but you took a free from about nearly 100 yards of far field against us in senior championship to level it. You were facing down towards the river goal. You were taking a free, and I was told, I was on the field, and I was told to go over and try and eye you and try put you off. And I was shouting at you. I wasn't shouting at bad now. I was just shouting. I was just shouting strange things. I think I brought up EastEnders or Coronation Street. And you put the ball over the bar, and you just turned around and you said, "Not today, kid." And I was just like, geez, I'm out there trying everything I can there to put him off. And like, it wasn't just it limped over. It could have gone another 100 yards. Like, you leathered it over the bar. And I remember I was coming down the car, and our goalkeeper, Eddie Lynch, we would always went to games together. And Eddie was saying, geez, you know, we got away lightly there and stuff like that. And I was there going, Eddie, I tried everything to try put him off, and it did not work. And Eddie goes, that's what you get when you're dealing with different class.
Yeah, look, some days they go or some days they don't, but I suppose I said that day I said Lismore were 13, 14 points down at half time, if I'm correct.
I didn't want to mention that, but sound for that, yeah.
Well, and even that day I was suffering with the flu going into the game, and they said at half time.
Yeah, make it worse. Yeah.
They said at half time they'd take me off, and I said give it 10 minutes.
I wish they fucking did, to be honest.
I think we got 2 fast goals, and we kind of got a small bit of momentum going, and what led after that was just a freak, to be honest with you, because
I think he went 11 points unanswered to us.
We did, yeah. Like if we won by 4, we would have topped the group. And like winning by 4 at half time, it was just to keep the scoreboard ticking, to win the second half, really. That's the way we looked at it. I think we definitely won by 4 in the end, I think. But I remember turning to Paulie and I said, keep going now when we were a point up, and Paulie said, what's wrong with you? We're after coming back from 13. I said, if we win by 4 here, I said, we top the group. So that got us going again, you know.
It was I love a comeback story in hurling, not when I'm on the field, it'd be in the opposition though. I can tell you that for sure.
We've been in that position too, but
look, Maurice, it's been an absolute pleasure. I was talking to different people saying I was going to have you on the show, and I had it on the social media accounts, and I was getting people coming back to me, saying, when's the Maurice interview? Everyone was really, really dying to listen to it. And actually have a great interview with Brian O'Halloran coming up as well next week. But I must say, I really want to thank you for your time, your openness over the last number of years, what you've done for people that suffer with depression and just in general. In terms of the last 10 years, it's been an absolute pleasure watching you at Lismore. Like you said, you were instrumental when Lismore had passage in that comeback from 14 points. I hope we're not in the same situation in the next couple of years. But I wish you all the best with Lismore. I wish you all the best with Katie and with Rosie. Dan, tell Dan to keep ticking over in the gym. Like you said, his legs are gone, but I would have said his legs went a long time ago.
No, that's it. Yeah. I suppose anyone listening to this now, I suppose with the boys on Sunday, they're going to be listening on Monday. It's going to be over. So, but just hopefully the boys can get off to a winning start and see where the road takes them, and hopefully they can do something special. And I won't build them up too much because I know what it's like, and just one game at a time. You heard Prunty after the league final just kind of be patient, and hopefully the boys can do it.
That's it, fingers crossed, and we wish Liam Cahill and all the panel the best of luck for tomorrow. Like you said, this will go out Monday, so the game will be over, and hopefully we'll be all after enjoying what's going to be a brilliant weekend of hurling. Galway, Wexford, of course, and we have Limerick and Cork as well. Maurice, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope you keep well, and thanks for talking to us.
No matter, Sam. So, man, but
wherever you're listening, whether it be Ballyduff or Ballygunner, Passage or Portlaw, Dungarvan or Dunhill, tune in to I Love My Club Boy, the podcast that brings you closer to camogie and hurling in the Waterford club scene. Don't forget, hurling is our passion.